In this video, we are going to learn about another application of macro. We are going to take the example of amortization schedule, and because it will involve the calculation of EMI plus the calculation of interest and principal. So there are multiple formulas which are involved over here, and let's see how Excel treats this formula. Okay, when we try to record a macro. All right, so the data which has been given to us is the loan amount. I will first form the table and then I will try to record a macro which will capture the formulas. Otherwise, it will capture the data as well. So my loan is, let's say, 10,000 rupees. My interest is let's say 10%. Tenure is 10 years. Okay, and my EMI. So my loan amount, my EMI, my interest, my principal or repayment, principal payment, and that's pretty much. All right. And I can also write the years. So I'll shift this entire years. Okay, YEARS up to 10, 3. So I can write the years up to 10. Okay. Now I will try to record a macro, which is record a macro amortization schedule, and I'm started recording. Okay, and the first thing in the entire process is to calculate the EMI. Okay, how do we do that? By using the formula called as PMT. Okay, PMT, my rate is this, which is yearly. Number of tenure is this. My present value is minus 10,000. And at the end of the period, and I'll close the bracket, so which is 1627.45 every year. I will change this to currency format, more currency format, and I will change this to currency format, which is Indian rupees, which we have to find out which. Okay, so this is my currency. Now my EMI for all the years remains the same, correct? Because EMI doesn't change. So my EMI remains the same. My EMI remains the same. Now first year my loan amount is my 10,000 rupees over here. First year my interest is 10% of my 10,000. So which is 10%, I will make it constant, into my loan amount, which is 10,000 or 1,000, and I'll simply drag this. So initially it will be 0, and the principal payment would be the difference between EMI and interest. So this means that in the first month I was supposed to repay 1,627 as an EMI because my loan amount was 10,000. I paid interest of 1,000, out of which 1,627.45, which was my EMI, out of which 1,000 was towards the interest and the rest was towards the principal. I'll simply drag this principal payment down, and I'll simply drag this loan amount table, which is principal amount initially at the start of the month or at the start of the year and at the end of the year. Okay, and I'll drag this. I will do the formatting over here, and I will do the formatting over here as well. And this is precisely what I'm supposed to pay. So I was supposed to pay 1,479 as a principal, was pending, and I paid. So at the end of the 10th year, everything is settled. At the start of the 11th year, everything will be nil. Okay. So that's precisely what I was supposed to do. Now let's see what macro has recorded. Okay, now you go to view, you click on macros, you click on view macros. Okay, first amortizing schedule, you click on edit. Now there will be a lot of things because we've done a lot of things over here. Okay, I'll keep this. Okay, so now the first, it says active cell formula R1C1. So now in the previous videos as well, that Excel will never take directly cell number. It will always be as a part of rows and columns. So now first I started with PMT. So Excel directly take the formula saying that PMT, which is over here, PMT, because I was in that particular cell, so Excel directly wrote the formula. Otherwise, you have to write the cell as well. Okay. So formula is PMT R minus 2. So go 2 rows above the cell, which is interest. So first thing in the PMT formula is my interest rate. Then it will be R minus 1, which is my tenure. So precisely R minus 1. Then minus 3, R minus 3, and then 0. So Excel has provided that formula to us. And then it says range B8 select. So range B8 select. Okay, so you apply that particular formula there. Okay, I can also write this formula over here so that in the event when I run this next time, even if I am not in that particular cell, the PMT formula will still be applicable to this particular cell. Okay, I'll come to that what I've just said. So initially when I wrote or when I started with the macro, I was in this particular cell directly. So Excel directly wrote that formula directly here. Now what if next time I run the formula, I am in this particular cell which is F4. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do this thing. I'm not going further. I'll just save this. I'll close this. And now I am in the cell I5 and I am running this macro which is amortizing schedule, and I'll run this. Now you see there is a question mark over here. There is a number issue over here. Everything else is helter skelter. And there's something over here, but I'm not sure whether it's correct or not. And the issue with macro which you already explained is you cannot do control Z. Okay, so now what to do? Okay, so let's say I've removed this and I am over here. I am in this I5 and I run this macro again. Run. Okay, now there is no EMI. Okay, so absolutely there is nothing which is present over here, and my formula has gone for a toss. Okay, and I cannot now get what I have written. Okay, so now what changes I have to do? I have to, so irrespective of whichever cell I am, I have to come back to this cell to write a formula. Okay, so there is a code for that, which is range B8 select. Okay, range B8 select. Now let's try and run the formula. Let's say I'm in this cell I5 and I am running this formula. Now everything is perfect. Even if I delete this, ideally it should be in a position to run the macro. Run the macro. You see, everything works perfectly fine. Okay. Now what I've done is I was not in that particular cell, but I've asked Excel to go to that particular cell and then write a macro. So these are the minor changes which you have to do. Okay, by understanding the macro, these are the finer nuances which you will get. Okay. Uh, Now this is pretty much the simple format. It's over here says that cell C11 select, which is over here C11, and I gave the formula over here so that it runs perfectly fine. Initially I gave it as B8, so it will be B8 over here, row 3 up, which is 1, 2, 3 up, and one column minus, which is over here. So it gave the formula, and then R1 minus C, it gave the previous cell value, which is this, something like that. Okay, similarly, it did with the interest also. It calculated the principal payment by calculating this, by subtracting this. It applied to all the ranges. So it says this autofill destination. So when we click something like this, it's more like an autofill destination. The Excel writes something like this. And similarly for the interest also it did autofill. Same thing for the principal, it did the autofill. Okay, and then it ends the code over there. This is added by the Excel. Okay, to make the format and everything, which is look to make it perfect. All right. So this is the nuance of running a macro. Is basically you have to just write a macro, whatever you want, and then whatever you have to make changes. So over here I made changes in terms of wherever I am, I have to go to this particular cell and write a formula over here. This is a question mark because Excel doesn't figure it out rupee symbol. Okay, so Excel is changed in this, but Excel has not made changes to the VBA script. All right, so that's why the issue is. Instead of rupee you can use dollar. Okay, now what I want you to do an exercise on, so let's say instead of this tenure, had the tenure been 20, then will the same formula work, or say the same macro work? If not, then what are the changes you have to make? So this is one exercise which you have to do. So let's say I may make a change to a tenure from 10 to 20. Will the same thing work? Because at the end of 10th year, my entire loan is not prepaid, not repaid as such. Okay, then what the Excel or what changes needs to be done, that I want you to implement. All right. So thank you for the time, and I hope you have understood something related to the macros. I, I I urge every one of you to implement whatever you have learned using the exercise which I have told you just now, saying that if the tenure is changed from 10 to 20, then how dynamic your macro is. You have to make your macro so dynamic. So first, do this exercise by recording a macro and then change something, change the rows or change the selection, whatever changes, minor changes it's required. I urge you to make those changes and run the macro again to get the output. All right, thank you.